So you're looking at the world's first low-profile magnetic Hall effect rapid trigger, or however you want to call it, keyboard from Nuphy. This is a wired keyboard with 8000 Hz polling rate. But wait, it's not just the polling rate that's 8K, but also the PCB scan rate. What's the difference? That we will go over in this video. First off, this is a $140 wired keyboard, which I think is both a hit and miss, as you get the lowest latency possible at the cost of portability. Now, with everything this keyboard has to offer, I totally understand that the specs on this keyboard is bound to chew up battery power if this were wireless. This is a top-mounted keyboard, so there's no flexing at all, which is standard for magnetic keyboards, as flexing may F up the readings of the keyboard and the switch's travel distance. Thanks to Nuphy's MCU, this has NKRO, 8000 Hz polling rate, and another 8000 Hz PCB scan rate. Now, polling rate is how often your PC reads keyboard inputs, while scan rate is how often your keyboard reads your inputs. And this is what other keyboard companies do not dare talk about. And then here comes Nuphy solving a problem you don't even know you may face with other 8-key devices. Now, this features pre-lubed Gateron low-profile Jade Pros, which I think are smooth to use, and I did not feel any inconsistencies. You have free reign to swap them out with other low-profile magnetic switches like the non-pro versions of the Gateron Jades. So upon opening Nuphy.io, you open its web-based software. Just click on Access Authorization, click on your keyboard, click on Connect. Let's try to customize our gaming mode. So in the first tab, you'll get your keybind settings here with 4 layers to customize. You have your standard keyboard layout here, media controls, RGB controls. As for special characters, you can even bind mouse function onto your keyboard, like scroll up or scroll down. So upon opening the next tab, trigger settings, you'll see the actuation points of each key right here. You can select inverse, or in other words, deselect all and choose a specific key here, say backspace, and set an actuation point. You're free to use dead zones here if you want. Here, the next tab is the RGB effects, and everything here is pretty much self-explanatory. The one thing I like here is you can even choose your own hex value here. Now, over in this sub tab right here, the side light, you can change how the lights at the sides of your keyboard function. So pretty much self-explanatory again. Now, at the last tab here, the mode settings, since this is in gaming mode, Windows key is locked. Now we can also lock Alt F4, also Alt Tab. The next option here, gaming optimization. There's an explanation below here, but I don't know exactly what this is for. However, by default, it's turned on. So I'll leave it at that. For the next options here, you have a tick rate, but that will depend on the games you play. For the anti-wobbliness level, by default, it's at low stabilization level, so I'll keep it at that. And lastly, you can select the polling rate right here. Now let's dive deeper into the rapid trigger functions here. If you want to set that up on a specific key, just right click on a specific key like W, and it will show you some rapid trigger settings that you could use. I'm not gonna dive deep into each rapid trigger feature here. That's on you to research. But the one thing that Nuphy has added here is very similar to SnapTap or Snappy Tappy from Wooding, is their Hypertap. On Nuphy's website, they have a very good virtual presentation on how Hypertap works. So basically, when you press on a button like A and let it go, it's going to activate D, or of course, a different button that you set up. This is very similar to SnapTap and very useful for strafing. Make sure you know the rules of the games you're playing before using these features. In the box, you get the keyboard, a manual, the cable, a keycap switch puller, and extra keycaps. I love that this also has a PET dust cover for extra protection. Cable is a right-angle USB-C rubber-coated cable with a colorway similar to the keyboard. The extra keycaps here are a very good option in case you prefer them over the gamery-themed keycaps we have here. Top case is made of aluminum, while the bottom case is made of ABS with a top-mounted design. This ensures a rigid typing feel for more stability, which is something magnetic keyboards require. I believe I already said that a while back, but anyways, underneath are 2 level kick-up feet along with rubber pads to avoid slipping. At the top left of the keyboard is its rapid switch with 3 options, one for game mode, Windows, and Mac by default. Now, each of these can be customized in its web-based software. You can even customize each mode for each game that you play. At the left side, you get the USB-C input, which I think is, again, both a hit and miss. It works in a good way so as to leave space on top of the keyboard for something like a microphone or half a keyboard. It's a miss in a way that you will need an elbow cable for it. You can just buy a right-angle USB-C adapter online like what I have here. I will leave links in the description to help you guys out. This of course has low-profile keycaps made with double-shot PBT plastic. Clear keycaps, on the other hand, are made with polycarbonate, if I am not mistaken. PBT keycaps are said to be record-breaking thin, and I believe them as the LEDs shine through very slightly. Stabilizers are pre-lubed and plate-mounted. They're heavily lubed, but they miraculously do not feel sticky. Stabs do not wobble despite being plate-mounted, so all good here. The Gateron low-profile Jade Pros here have a full palm build with a 40-gram spring, a bit more versus the non-pro version. The travel distance of this switch is just the same as regular Jades from Gateron with the lowest actuation point of 0.1 mils. The full palm housing gives me the impression this would sound creamy and not too noisy given its fully dampened case, including a plate foam, PCB foam, silicone padding at the bottom case. I don't know how all this fits in here, but let's listen to how it sounds. The keyboard is offered in one colorway with two keycap options to choose from. The one we have here is the non-shine-through option, but with extra PC keycaps for a Susano kind of build. I personally like the PC keycaps with RGB off so as to not cause glare. Looking closely at the PC keycaps, you get the wormhole symbols and Einstein's name right there. As for the extra keycaps, I think it's worth mentioning that this includes Mac keycaps in case you're a Mac user. I think the colorway is neutral and can be applied to both masculine and feminine builds. The branding is found only at the top right corner of the keyboard and also underneath. The top case is made of anodized aluminum so it shines a tad bit with hints of glitters in them. On both sides you get a light strip that also acts as indicators, plus this has 20 RGB modes for those who care, and you may customize them in the software or by pressing function key and enter. You may refer to the manual for more information on alternate keys, and also you may refer to the description to find the links on where to get your Nuphy Air60 HE. Comment down below if you have any questions and I'll get to you when I can. I'll see you guys again next time.